Hollywood is having a rough time. 25 movies, many stars, 0 hits. And there's some very good films in this story. We have notes for it, but I'm kind of sad to see this happen. It's been a brutal 3 months for dramas and comedies. Badger, if you would.
25 movies, many stars, 0 hits. Hollywood falls to new lows. Over the last 3 months, Hollywood released 25 dramas and comedies, many with huge stars, strong reviews, and big marketing pushes. Not a single one became a hit. Some played to nearly empty theaters. It's not a phase. It's an evolution you can't reverse, said Kevin Goetz. Traditionally, Hollywood considers a drama or a comedy a success if it makes $50 million at the box office. Virtually none have come close. After The Hunt with Julia Roberts cost $70 million and earned $3.3 million. Kiss of the Spider Woman from Jennifer Lopez cost $30 million, earned $1.6 million. These numbers are catastrophic, even by today's standards. Franchise films, horror, and anime are still drawing crowds. Predator Badlands, $40 million opening weekend. Weapons, strong horror turnout, and Infinity Castle, big anime numbers. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, $70 million so far. But overall, the box office is hurting. October was the lowest grossing October on record, excluding 2020. This isn't a new trend, but the scale is. A-list actors are losing audiences. It has seriously begun to look like the bottom is falling out, from Variety. The biggest factor, studios killed the theatrical window. During the pandemic, the traditional 90-day exclusive theatrical window collapsed. Now some films hit digital after 17 days. The result? There is no urgency to see dramas in theaters. Comedies play easily at home, and theatrical attendance plunged. Theaters are begging studios to return to a 45-day window, but no luck so far. Studios, critics, theaters, and audiences all blame each other. Audiences complain about sequels, but don't show up for originals. Media kills films early with opening weekend headlines. And theaters charge more while blasting ads for 30 minutes at mine, 20 minutes pre-show. No
69.
one agrees on the root cause. Many well-reviewed films are tanked. Die My Love, critically adored, only 2.8 million. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, positive buzz, 21 million. Good Fortune, solid reviews, 16.3 million. And Begonia and the Smashing Machine also underperformed. Critical acclaim isn't driving ticket sales anymore. Some films may find a second life on streaming, especially if awards attention hits, but studios won't release the digital revenue numbers, so the real success or failure remains hidden. Why keep releasing dramas and comedies theatrically? Because awards eligibility requires theatrical runs. Studios still want Oscars, especially Best Picture, which can't be won without a theatrical release. Indie distributors, meanwhile, are barely hanging on. Hollywood is desperate for a drama to break the trend. 2 upcoming award hopefuls may test the market. Chloe Zhao's Hamnet, November 26th, and Marty Supreme with Timothy Chalamet, the Christmas drama. Studios are waiting to see if these can reverse the slump or confirm the new reality.
They won't.
What do you guys think? And by the way, so there are some very good films in here I saw after The Hunt.
So did
with
I.
Julia Roberts. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, but Chris, I saw
Yeah.
that movie too, and it was very, very good.
Yes.
Why would anybody think that movie was going to make money in a theater?
Yep.
You're right about that. It's very adult.
Look, I saw Anemone in the theater. I thought it was incredible.
Same.
When I was watching it, I watched people walk out of it in the theater. There were only us, the guy I went with, and like a Japanese family left. I could tell you, all of us, everybody sitting on this panel could look at any one of these movies and go, don't release this theatrically.
Yeah.
Because you still have to make a film, a movie. These movies are so far up their own asses. And I think a lot of them are great, but these appeal to maybe 5% of the population, and that's the population entirety, not the 5% that actually. I'm talking about 5% of the population, and of that 5%, how many go to the movies? And of the people going to the movies, how many would go to these? And it's zero.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to go. And it used to be like, I'll give you an example, and I always go back to this. Paul Newman's The Verdict. When that movie came out, it had a big star in Paul Newman. And Paul Newman's character was put in a position, he was a burnt out lawyer with nothing to lose. And he was going to take on one final case. He was a mythic character. He might as well have been a gunfighter in the Old West. And it's Paul Newman. And you want to know, is he going to win or is he going to lose? And not only was it one of the great performances of his career that he should have won an Oscar for, audiences wanted to know if he was going to win or if he was going to lose, because it was Paul Newman fighting a battle, and you wanted to know if he was going to be victorious. And so that got people to go in. That's why adults went to those dramas, because they related to the central themes of those movies. You go and watch After the Hunt. It's not even about cancel culture, which I thought it was. It was this oblique, sort of Baroque examination of academia today. And again, that would appeal to how many people in the audience? You can get somebody to go see anything if you provide them with an intellectual kernel of an idea that they have to understand. They have to believe. Weapons did it. An entire school, entire class of kids ran out of their houses at 2:17 and disappeared forever. That's an irresistible hook. If you could figure out a way to give an irresistible hook to a drama, people would go see it, because they're like, I got to know what happened. And After the Hunt, you watch it and you're like, do I have to see that?
Also, by the way, every character is kind of an asshole. Like every character is not a real. I feel it was.
Are you talking about After the Hunt? Or?
After the Hunt, yeah.
After
the Hunt. All the characters they're imperfect people. That's the best thing you can say.
Who
and
thought
then
Smashing Machine
do horrible.
I'm just saying, who thought Smashing Machine or Christie or Begonia or any of these movies were going to make a bunch of? Those are niche movies.
I don't think anyone thought they were going to make money.
But then they're lamenting that they didn't make money.
No, but those are all awards movies, and I think that's the big.
But awards movies used to be also the most successful movies.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I mean, Hollywood. If you look, if you go back in time, even prestige pictures like Gandhi were really well regarded, and people went because they knew they're seeing epic filmmaking. You know, I was like, I don't want to go see Gandhi when I was in high school. I went and saw it, and I loved it. I'm like, this movie rules.
Forrest Gump would flop so fucking hard if it came out right now.
No, I don't think it would. Here,
I think it would.
No, let me show you.
You've ruined everyone. Let
me show you. These are the top. Sorry, hold on. Let me remove that and that. Okay, these are the top 10 movies of 2025. They all have basically one thing in common. They're all event films. There was a lot of they're big, over the top. They promoted it as if these were the greatest movies ever.
Actually, Sinners wasn't an event film,
and Sinners is the only one that's not a sequel or a known commodity.
Right, but in terms of like Forrest Gump was an event movie. There's so much hype behind it, the technology behind it. People had to see it. But when you're talking about Smashing Machine, well, The Rock got prosthetics on his face. That's hardly an event film. It's about a guy who's basically an introvert and a low energy. That's not an event film whatsoever. I mentioned before, I saw a documentary on William Wyler, and when he made Ben-Hur was a response to the fact that movie theaters were dying because of television. And the only thing that movie theaters could do was create epic event movies like Ben-Hur. And they spent a lot of money on Ben-Hur. The production costs on Ben-Hur, the chariots, the horses, all of that stuff. They made an epic film, and people went out to see that event film. And
it's still epic.
And I still think that people only go to movie theaters nowadays because of these event films.
Well, I think Rob made a good point, but I think I'm going to clarify it a little bit more, because I think there's a difference between a film and a movie, right? People want to go to the movies. and don't get me wrong, there are people who love film like we do, and will go support like smaller movies and things like that. And there is an audience for that. But if you're trying to hit the majority, man, you need movies. And when I say movies, you need movies where like things that people generally all want to go watch. Like we all can like laugh and shit on Minecraft all day. I had a good time. It was a fun movie, right? I'm sitting there, I have my popcorn. It was goofy as hell, but I had fun. It was a good time. People want to have a good time in the theater. Even if it's a horror film, they want to have a good time in the theater. And when you have all these things working against you, when you have ticket price working against you, because that's a huge factor. When you have the fact that it will be on streaming in 17 days, that is an issue. That is a factor against you, right? There's all these things that are against you succeeding now. And don't even get me started on actors destroying their own property before it even comes out, right? Like no one wants to go watch a movie where you don't like the people who are in it.
Yeah.
When I saw Wicked, this current one, I had to almost like force myself to go in because I'm so turned off by Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, but I did it anyway. And that's rare because I'll rarely ever do that. If I don't like people in the movie, I just won't go watch it.
I honestly thought that The Hunt was an Amazon Prime like movie, exclusive movie. I didn't even know.
I did
that
too.
movie
Actually.
was-
It
was
is
going
on
to be in
Amazon.
theaters.
It is on Amazon, but it was in theaters, and they spent nearly $100 million on a
That's
movie
wild.
about people talking in rooms.
But
There's
Julia
no-
Roberts got paid her full boat. She got like 20 million to be in
Oh
it.
no, that's
Right.
insane. That's
And,
crazy.
and that's I mean, that movie should have cost less than $10 million. And you look at movies like, you know, you
Right.
think about one of my favorite comedies from the early 80s was Tootsie. You know, and if you look at Tootsie, it had a big star in Dustin Hoffman and to a certain extent Jessica Lange. But it was a movie that was sort of set in the real world, quote unquote, the real world, where it had a high concept in that Dustin Hoffman was impersonating a woman, which is funny, but it was also a legitimately great movie.
Now it's old hat.
It was, yeah, but if you watch it now, it's still a great movie because it has both romantic, sweet subplot, it has a high concept hook, and the story it's telling is wildly entertaining because it's like set in the real world. And if you look at a movie like another comedy that did really well, The First Hangover, that movie was the same thing. You had a high concept story. The filmmaking was great. It looked like a glossy Hollywood production, and yet it was really funny. And it was a gigantic hit because when you went and saw it, it was an event movie, but it was also a comedy. And they used to make comedies were event films. Beverly Hills Cop was an event movie.
You guys keep saying event movies like that's what. Do you realize that Doomsday is probably going to flop too? And that's the most event movie of all event movies. And that's because they've released too much shit.
Yeah,
and no one
that's right.
trusts their ability to write good films anymore.
Well, there's another element to the event movie. It's the willingness of the audience to see it again and again and again in the theater.
But that's
Minecraft is a movie that kids saw over and over and over again. Same with Lilo and
Chicken
Stitch.
Jockey.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's what makes, you know, you have the event movie. You've got to make a movie that people want to see again. I mean, we had a chance, Chris and I, to talk to Ryan Coogler on Sunday. And I brought this up. It was, you know, you made a movie that people were willing to spend money on, to get a sitter for, to, you know, you're going to pay that $100 bill for 3 people to see your movie. And he understood that he has to deliver in all his movies that value that people are going to pay into it. And
just real quick,
you talk about
Also, by the way,
original film.
because the budget's $900 million and there's no way they're going to make fucking 3. It's going to flop just on how much money they've spent on the 2 movies, let alone
Ryan Coogler said his family, they never went on family vacations. They just went to the movies all the time. So he really was like, had a family, you know, geared towards going to see film. But this Julia Roberts movie, very good movie. It's a streaming movie. It's not the kind of movie that audiences flock to the theater to see. It's also a movie for an older audience.
But
I
also doesn't
I
even
liked a lot.
When you talk about dramas, though, you also want compelling stories. So when I think of like drama movies, I think of like The Green Mile, Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan, Good Will Hunting. Those are compelling stories that you
Yes.
end up talking to people about afterwards, and then they get excited and want to go see that movie too. Word of mouth spreads. Like you have that creativity to tell these compelling stories alongside casting the actors to give incredible performances. And I don't think that all of the things right now that are just pushing up against Hollywood, streaming, the current crop of actors, also the past actors ruining their reputations and not wanting people or not, and now like people not wanting to support them because you had that whole celebrity blackout thing where people are just like, I don't want to follow you because you don't say things that I like, or like you're not authentic. Celebrity and social media have completely killed them. Like it's
Yeah.
killed
Mhm.
celebrity. So people just
Yep.
don't want to follow them anymore because they've completely like ruined, I guess, like their image of them.
Billy
To
Bob
where
Thornton
I
was
don't like
just
what you're
saying
saying.
this.
Just act. You're better when you're just
Mhm.
acting, and then you don't want to go and support or watch their movies. So like you don't know when like these great movies with all of these compelling stories, especially with dramas. With dramas, it has to be something to pull you into the theater, something that you're going to talk about afterwards and tell your friends, like, you have to go and see this movie because it is so good. I don't think that type of creativity exists anymore.